Rishi Sunak's main concern, above everything else, this man who lost to Liz Truss and is now Prime Minister, this man who has never really struggled for a day in his life, who married wealth, who earns a great deal, who is actually the richest Prime Minister we've ever had in number 10. This man is desperate not to lose the next election, which, 50 or 60 of his own MPs have already decided has gone. They're quitting their jobs. They're fleeing like lemmings or rats before the ship sinks. I said before the sinks. There is a tone of vomit about all this as well. Retching. And what I wanted to focus on today was last night Rishi Sunak did a question and answer thing in a studio in GBNews, which is supposed to be favourable to him. And of course, he's not right-wing enough for GBNews, so they're not as favourable as he might have supposed. He should have done this, really, on mainstream television, but he didn't. And one person asked him an interesting question. They said, let me see if I can find it now. Why was he so adamant about sticking to the Rwanda policy? And his response, which we've heard many, many times from him, is that in order to sort out the migrant problem, there is a problem, I concede that, we need a deterrent. Now, this is not in fact true. This is a MacGuffin that he has invented, or that Liz Truss has invented, or other people have invented, that in turn answers the question. We need a deterrent. We don't need a deterrent, we need a solution. Rwanda is that deterrent. This is like a magician waving his hands, prestidigitation, sleight of hand. Look over there. And it's not true. It's not true. A deterrent is not going to stop the boats. The deterrent is the war, the poverty, the terrorism, the bullying by gangs. That is the deterrent. And that deterrent has already pushed people into risking their lives, not only crossing Europe or crossing the Mediterranean, but also crossing the Channel. The Channel is a small hop for these people who have already risked everything. A deterrent, Rwanda, is not a deterrent. You could say now, to my argument, oh, so Rwanda is not a big enough deterrent. We need a bigger deterrent. Okay, but I can't think of a bigger deterrent than losing your home, than losing your family, than losing your hope. Whether that's economic or whether that's for fear of violence and war or starvation, in a way it doesn't matter. The deterrent is already at work. And for Rishi Sunak to say that Rwanda is a deterrent, first of all, the people who are deterred are going to have to read the newspapers and look at the media in English. That's not going to work. And secondly, they have to be intimidated by the threat of Rwanda. That's not going to work either, because we, in turn, are trying to make Rwanda as comfy and cozy as possible. So I don't understand how we can be helping a country by calling it in itself a deterrent. Added to which, the entire idea of exporting our responsibility, delegating our responsibility to another country, I think is not a deterrent, it's abhorrent. And it's morally wrong. So, is this something that Rishi Sunak thinks he can get right? Is it that he believes that the moment a plane takes off with somebody in it, no matter how many people in it, that is victory for him, and at that point he will call a general election? Do you know, I really think that's a possibility. He's looking for anything that he can call a victory, because today I think we're going to discover that the economic situation has collapsed even further, and Jeremy Hunt's hopes, again you have to say that very carefully, Jeremy Hunt's hopes of cutting tax are fast receding. So that's not going to work. So what does Rishi Sunak have to offer the voter? His head, I think. His head on a silver platter.